अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा नाम शामीन आरिफ है और मैं रेहान कॉलेज की स्टूडेंट हूँ एज अ फैसिलिटेटर। हाय चैट जीपीटी।
Hey, I'm here and ready to help. What can I do for you today?
What does it mean to make a good decision?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a good decision is one that aligns with your values and long term goals, takes into account the best available information, and is balanced with a bit of informed choice and being willing to adapt if needed. What kind of decision are you thinking about?
What do people sometimes regret their decisions?
Yeah, that's really common. I think a lot of the time people regret decisions when they either didn't have all the information at the time or when they were too rushed and later realized they overlooked something important. Sometimes it's just a mismatch between what they hoped and how things actually turned out. It's natural. We're all just trying to navigate uncertainty, right?
How can careful thinking improve decision making?
Yeah, careful thinking is really key. When you slow down, you give yourself time to weigh options, anticipate potential outcomes, and spot any biases you might have. You also make room to consult other perspectives or gather more data before committing. So, in a way, it reduces that rushed feeling and gives you a clearer, more confident foundation for your choice.
What role does experience play in making better decisions?
Experience is huge. The more you've been through, the better you get at recognizing patterns and anticipating what might go wrong or right. You start to trust your instincts more, but also temper them with lessons from past decisions. So it's like a mental toolkit. Each experience gives you another tool to navigate future choices.
How can setting clear goals help in decision making?
Yeah, setting clear goals is really helpful because they give you a kind of compass. When you know what you're aiming for, it's easier to evaluate options and see which ones align with that bigger picture. They help you filter out distractions and make choices that bring you closer to your vision rather than just reacting to every impulse.
How can emotions affect our decisions?
Yeah, emotions play a big role. They can give us energy and motivation, but they can also cloud our judgment if we're too reactive. When we're really emotional, we might jump to quick conclusions or overlook risks. So it's important to recognize emotions, but also balance them with rational thinking, so you don't get swayed too far in either direction.
What is the difference between quick decision and thoughtful decisions?
Ah, good question. A quick decision is usually made fast, often based on a gut feeling or a short window of time. Sometimes it works out, but not always. A thoughtful decision, though, is near deliberate. You take time to gather information, consider options, and weigh the consequences. So it usually leads to more satisfying, stable outcomes.
How can self confidence improve decision skills?
Yeah. Ah, of course. So when you have self confidence, it gives you a sense of trust in your own ability to handle whatever outcome might come. You're less paralyzed by fear or doubt, so you can commit more fully to your decisions. And when you see yourself making good choices, that confidence just grows.
Why is gathering information important before making a choice?
Yeah, it's really crucial because it helps you understand the full picture. When you have accurate info, you can foresee potential risks, weigh benefits, and avoid making decisions based on guesswork or bias. Basically, it gives you a stronger foundation so your choices are really informed and intentional.
How can overthinking create confusion and regret?
Yeah, overthinking can really muddy the waters. When you keep second guessing yourself, you might get stuck in analysis paralysis. You see every possible angle and it just amplifies uncertainty. That can lead to fear of making the wrong choice, so you end up either delaying action or afterward regretting that you didn't decide sooner.
What are some common mistakes people making while deciding?
Yeah, definitely. Some common mistakes are things like rushing into a decision without enough info, letting emotions drive the choice too much, or being overly influenced by other people's opinions. Also, sometimes people don't set clear criteria for what they really want, so they end up just going with the easiest or most obvious option, even if it's not the best one.
How can time management help people make better decisions?
Yeah, time management is a game changer because it gives you that breathing room to actually reflect. When you allocate time to consider your options and avoid last minute pressure, you make space for thoughtful analysis. Plus, when you manage your time well, you reduce that stress and you don't feel so rushed, so the quality of your decisions tends to go up.
What role does patience play in avoiding regret?
Yeah, patience is really important because it stops you from jumping into decisions too quickly. When you give yourself time, you can gather better info, see how things unfold, and avoid rash moves that you might regret later. So, patience helps you stay calm, stay intentional, and often leads to better outcomes.
How can writing down options help people choose wisely?
Oh, that's a great technique. When you write down your options, it kind of forces you to see them all clearly without them just swirling around in your head. You can compare them side by side, spot pros and cons more easily, and even see if any hidden options pop up. It kind of grounds you in the process and helps you make a clearer, more deliberate choice.
Why is it important to trust yourself when making decisions?
Yeah, trusting yourself is really key because you've got all of your past experiences, values, and insights in you. When you trust yourself, you're more likely to commit to a decision with confidence. And even if things don't go the perfectly, you're better equipped to handle it because you believe in your ability to figure it out as you go.
How can positive thinking improve judgment?
Yeah, positive thinking can be a big boost because it helps you see possibilities rather than just risks. When you believe things can work out, you tend to stay open to creative solutions, stay motivated, and avoid getting paralyzed by fear. So it keeps your judgment balanced, realistic, but hopeful.
How can a student make smarter academic and career decisions?
Yeah, I think for students, it really helps to set clear goals about what excites them, both in academics and in their career. They should do their research, talk to mentors or professionals, and give themselves permission to explore. It's not just about one right choice, it's about being curious, staying adaptable, and using each step to build confidence in their path.
How can fear stop people from making good choice?
Yeah, fear can really get in the way because it makes people focus on worst case scenarios, or it pushes them to avoid risks altogether. When you let fear drive, you can end up either not deciding at all or choosing something safe but not aligned with your real goals. So recognizing that fear but still balancing it with logic really helps keep you on track.
What role does people balance logic and emotion with deciding?
Yeah, that's really important because both logic and emotion give you different insights. Logic helps you weigh facts, probabilities, and long term impacts, while emotion connects you to your values and your sense of fulfillment. When you balance them, you get a decision that's both grounded in reality and true to what matters most to you.
What lessons can failure teach about making decisions?
Absolutely. Failure is such a powerful teacher because it gives you a real world reality check. You learn what didn't work, adjust your approach, and often come back with a clearer sense of what you really want. So instead of fearing failure, you can see it as a step toward making wiser decisions next time.
How can good decision lead to personal success and happiness?
Yeah, I mean, when you make good decisions, you're aligning your actions with your values and long term goals. That consistency builds momentum, and each step forward boosts your confidence and sense of control. Over time, that creates a path of success because you're making intentional choices that keep you moving toward fulfillment and happiness.
How can people avoid regret and move forward confidently in life?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think it really comes down to practicing self compassion. You can acknowledge the mistake, understand what you learned, and then focus on what's next rather than getting stuck in guilt or regret. Each step forward is a chance to grow, so by forgiving yourself and staying open, you regain confidence and momentum.
How can comparing different options lead to better decision?
Yeah, comparing options is super helpful because it broadens your perspective. When you lay them out, you can spot trade offs you might miss otherwise, see which aligns best with your priorities, and avoid impulse decisions. Basically, it gives you a clearer, more informed basis to pick the best route for you.
Why is honesty important when making personal decisions?
Yeah, mindfulness is really key because it keeps you present and aware of what's going on inside you, your feelings, your reactions, and your values. When you're mindful, you can pause, check in with yourself, and make decisions from a calm, grounded place. That clarity helps you choose in line with what really matters to you.
How can daily habit improve decision making abilities?
Yeah, daily habits are really powerful because they build consistency and discipline. When you have routines, like setting aside time for reflection, planning, or learning, you stay more connected to your goals. So over time, your decisions making gets sharper because you're used to approaching life with intention and focus.
Thank you.